started. Welcome everyone. Lovely to see familiar faces. I love it. Obviously, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Emma. I'm a whiskey specialist and educator for the Whiskey List. And I've been bartending, talking about whiskey for many, many years. So today we're tasting an insane array of Benriach peated whiskies, some of which are exceptionally old. So, you know, pre-Brown-Forman, pre-Billy Walker, all that exciting stuff. And this is our final tasting in the Top Shelf tasting series. So we're ending on a bang, I think. And of course, joining us for this special event is Linus from Brown-Forman and Benriach. Before we, get on top of this and get into the drams, just a little bit of housekeeping. Some of them are cask strength. I think it's mostly the 12-year-old, which is cask strength. So obviously if you need water or ice or anything like that, you can help yourself to it. Obviously try not to drive, which is something I get to say now that we're allowed out of the house. As well, if you have enough glasses to taste them all side by side, that would be awesome. If you don't worry, I personally don't. And this session's being recorded, so we'll be emailing everyone the YouTube link if you want to watch it back for any reason. And we do this with all our tasting events, so if you ever wanted to look at any of the others, you can check them out as well on our YouTube channel. So everyone's muted to keep the background noise down, but I think considering it's small, we might look into having a little bit of chatter and raise your hand, and I can unmute you if you have a question in person and stuff. And I've just posted the list in the group chat in the order that we'll be drinking them. It's already changed like 3 times, so I'm pretty sure this is what you've got. Blame Linus. But yeah, and on that note, without further ado, welcome one of my favorite people in the world, Linus Schaxmann, and he'll start us off on our first dram.
Yeah, hey guys, how you going? Listen, thanks, Em. And just to build on what Em was saying before, obviously some are cask strength, some are quite punchy, late 40s ABV. You want to add water and ice, obviously, sure, probably please do that. I will say before you do, please obviously try it first. A little pro tip if you want to is just hold it in your mouth, let that natural saliva actually create dilution for you as well if you want to. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Like I said to the guys before, super pumped. Obviously, we've got the new Core 4, the new Benriach 10, the new Smoky, the new 12, the new Smoky 12, and they're really exciting evolution of Benriach, and we can't wait to try that and see where it's going. But this is super cool. We're going back in time, and it's like Dave's managed to get his hands on some whiskey that I haven't tried for a while, and they're really exciting, really interesting, really diverse whiskeys, and they're all peated. Which is you don't think of Benriach and peated, but it is a big part of what we've done. We were the first space distillery back in the early 70s to actually create an ongoing peated whiskey when no one was doing it at all. So I'm excited just to walk you through this, and we will chat about the distillery and how it's made. But I think my big knack was that I just talk too much. So we might pour the first dram, have a sip, chat about that, get a head around that, and then probably get into a bit about what Benriach is and how it's made, and what a Highland peated whiskey is and what we do with that. So we will go at the first one. It is a Temporis, which means time in Latin. Thank you, Mr. Robbins. I did 2 years of Latin at school. I'm that old. And this is stop as well. Just
there are child-proof.
The line is proof. The Temporis is actually a whiskey that I got obsessed with about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've got 3 bottles of this one. I actually do have this one, which is kind of cool. The Temporis is a 21-year-old, and it is a 4 cask maturation. We're going virgin oak, we're going first full American oak, we're going PX, and we're going Oloroso as well. So that 4 cask maturation. It's not like one to the other. It's 4 different casks. We blend it at the end to create this flavor profile. Obviously, all natural color. Let's give it a smell, shall we? This is just so soft and so elegant. I can see why I had my little obsession back in about 2018 with this one. But I did a tasting and fell in love with it, and it's just soft and elegant, and on the nose straight away. Me personally, you get that sweetness, that honey, but that Christmas cake coming through as well. That like raisins and dates and figs. So there's Oloroso, here and there, but you can tell on the nose straight away. There's a lot more PX than it is Oloroso. The Oloroso there is going to be a bit of backbone and to take care of the barley as well.
Feel free to pop your tasting notes in the chat, guys, as well. I love hearing them.
I love your tasting notes. Honestly, we can get some great thoughts and ideas. And as we know, like you might have a different thought and idea, and if you smell something, taste something, it's there. It's such an intensely personal thing, but on the nose, such a soft and elegant, and I mean, it's almost Christmas anyway. It's Christmas in the glass, but with a log fire in the background as well. So that trace and beautiful, sweet, elegant peat.
Yeah, I'm getting that like meaty saltiness, like when you get a really nice porchetta roast pork roll and that like crackling and stuffing and herb, and it's sweet, but it's not at the same time.
It's really funny you said that. I actually looked at my tasting notes for this from back in 2018, and back then I was into smoked meat, and I put like apple smoked pork, which I thought was different to that nice savoury, but I was that apple smoke as well. It's almost like a little savoury and meaty, which at the time made a lot of sense to me. I was really into smoking meat at the time. But it's just so soft, it's so elegant. As we know, it's a Highland peat. It's not like the Isla peat. We love Isla peated whiskies. I'm not putting down at all. I've got a fair few in my collection. But that's a little isle off the coast. It's getting that beautiful maritime flavours. You have betadine and burnt rub medicinal. But obviously, this is a Highland peat. Basically, where the bogs we got a peat from, it would have been a cliff that actually fell down and just broke down. And that cliff would have been New Caledonian pine trees. So it's fallen down. These pine trees have just sat there, decomposed over hundreds of years. This is like 2,000-year-old New Caledonian peat, wood peat. So when you actually burn the sod, and we did it when in Scotland, it's like applewood. And I've got a session, I've got a smoke, I use applewood. And actually in the taste, so you can get that sense of applewood, that beautiful barbecue, campfire, elegant smoke. And I like it. I say that when you're next to a campfire, you fall asleep, and you smell your clothes, that beautiful, elegant smoke. That's what you're getting from this. But this to me is just so soft, so smooth, so elegant, really moreish, really, really drinkable. And I like to break down the casks in my head, virgin oak, vanilla, caramel, butterscotch toffee, going into first of all American, that beautiful rich wood and a little bit of spice. Obviously moving into Pedro Jimenez, chocolate cake, orange zest, big stakes, raisins, and then the last one, a little bit of Oloroso, so you can get this nuttiness, dark chocolate as well. So that to me, and the journey and the palate actually breaks that down. It's been blended so well in the end by Rachel Barry. And I think it's just a great way just to ease into this peated flight. You have any thoughts or ideas yet, or tasting notes? Emmy's just taking the time, breaking it down. Are we all peated fans? Yeah.
And if we're not, we're about to convert some people.
Yeah, you know what? What's the ABV? 46, I'm going to say. I'm going to double check. I'm right.
46. Yeah.
46, yeah. 40% ABV. And again, it's just so soft, so elegant, so drink. I can see why I got some session by it for a while. It was just so easy to drink. Yeah, beautiful, elegant. Yeah, like my balance. What are your thoughts, Em?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. It reminds me so much of those like really earthy peated whiskies that you get from like the Highland Speyside regions.
Yeah.
Obviously very different from the mineral and the iodine, but just I'm not gonna lie, Benriach peated whiskey is whiskey of choice for whiskey sours for me. When I'm out at a venue and there's only so much to choose, but it's definitely, and the 21 is just beautiful, and it holds those casks really well. Like they're not overpowering the spirit. You still get that whiskey spirit through.
So I love how that I taste the wood first, and you go 1, 2, 3 count, and then the smoke kicks in, and then it just builds slowly crescendo, and then it sits the back plate. Lovely. Smell your boy, like it, Dave.
Ooh.
That's why we're friends, mate. I think absolutely.
David coming in with the classy cocktails.
Yeah, 100%. Tip top. So I think a really great way just to enter into this peak category. Nice, elegant, Virgin, First Flood, PX, Oloroso, and just so well balanced. Again, I use the elegant all the time because it really is elegant. It's dangerously drinkable, obviously responsibly. I must always say that. It's a dangerous whiskey. Any other thoughts from the crew? The long finish, yeah. 100%. I get a hint of that. I always call it like a orange zest or like Marmite as well. Just dance on the palate. It's such a versatile spirit. So obviously, Benriach, we're known for having this incredibly eclectic barrel maturation program. For like 30 years, we were a whiskey that just made whiskies to be blended, and we had to be versatile. And we made a spirit. Look at spirits. We do a very early and a very late cut. And I'll talk a little bit about the process. Obviously, we have a really mineral-rich water. It comes from aquifer 150 meters down below the distillery. We heaps of minerals. We have 140 minerals. When we're doing the wash, we're doing a full wash, very slow wash, not very high temperature. We want to create a really, really sweet wash. We have a really long fermentation process, metal washback tanks. When you try our wash, I think Dave's been there. It's like trying a lambic beer or even like an apple cider. It's just so sweet and bright and fresh. The distillation, we've got like pear-shaped stills, quite tall. Run the stills very low and slow. Lots of oh hello, what about there? Lots of contact with the carpet of those sulfites. It's quite a high still, so we're running quite gently. Those rich flavour molecules don't have the energy to get up the still and over the arm. You actually get quite a beautiful light. One thing I wish you could do is to get to try the new make, because the new make really is apples and pears and peaches and nectarines, a little bit of honey and like caramelized barley, and that holds up so well in all these barrels. If you go to a warehouse, we've got a place called Warehouse 13. It's a mythical place, and you open the door and you just see barrels for days. It's absolutely crazy. Ex-bourbon. We've got so many barrels in Warehouse 13, from American oak to sherry to red wine to rum to masala to Madeira. We take big swings all the time, and the whiskey can hold up in the actual barrels. Great question there about American oak. Obviously, we are owned by Brown-Forman. Brown-Forman is Woodford Reserve Jack Daniels. They do make their own barrels, which I think is an absolute boon, because we only go to make our own barrels. And if you're most whiskey people, you go to a barrel merchant and say, "Can I get 500 American oak barrels?" You won't know the provenance. You won't know where they're from. You'll get there about 8 months later. What we have, we know where the barrels are from, whether it be Jack Daniels or Woodford Reserve or Old Forester. They can get toasted or charged at our specification. We get barrels in 2 months as well, so it's a really quick direct route. So they're thrilled by the barrels we're getting for American oak. Probably the same with our port as well. We've got this great strategy with these bodegas. We're getting grade A port and sherry casks as well, which is amazing. Obviously, shines from our whiskey. See, I'm doing it again. I talk too much. Less talking, more drinking. Sorry, guys, I can't help myself. Let's move on. And if you can, I think, as Emma said, if you have got a glass and you can keep a little bit of whiskey to the side, and you can go back and compare it, the final whiskey will change as your palate changes. So please feel free to, if you can, to pour some and go back to it. Next one. Here we go. Hello, old friend. The 22-year-old Albariza. Oh, mate, this is almost like I tell you what, Dave, I don't know how you got this whiskeys, man. This is almost a little unicorn. This is an absolute cracker. This is first fill, American oak. Oh, we go. And it's off, Black Spinning whiskey. And then finish in Pedro Jimenez barrels. And you know what? I don't know why we're saying finishing, because we don't finish. We do like a secondary maturation. We're talking years and years and years. And you can see straight away, just by how thick and viscous. Okay, hello, sailor. This whiskey really is. It's beautiful, it's thick, it's viscous. Other guys will go 6 months, 18 months, 12 months in they call it a finish. That's my son screaming, I'm sorry. But honestly, when I try them, I get that second barrel on the tip of my palate, and it just fades away. I'm always trying to chase that flavour, because this is, we're talking years and years and years. I don't know why we say finish. It should be a secondary maturation, but Albariza is an absolute. I was drinking from the sack actually for the first time in years, and I forgot what an amazing whiskey it is. I was looking at how just the legs on the actual glass. It's so thick, it's so viscous, it's so jammy. Let's give it a smell. Yeah, straight. Oh, Emma's gone. She's back though. Let's get Emma. Emma came back. We lost you for a while. No, I think she's gone.
No, she's having a bit of
Yeah,
issues with her connection. Whichever government agency is monitoring her connection, a bit more intrusive.
And with good reason. So on the nose, I'm getting this toffee, like a burnt honey, a little bit of fruit coming through.
Dark chocolate coated raisins.
Here we go, straight away, yeah. And then we get straight into that PX, 100%. Like just dates and raisins, as they say, it's rich chocolate as well. I'm still, this could be an aftershave, man. This is just on the nose, just so much going on. Sorry, I should drink some time.
There was this whole series of 22-year-olds, which is 21 is the sweet spot. Everybody does 21s, 18s. In any background as to why 22 years old? Was it just that was the sweet spot for these casks?
I was just going to say exactly that. I think and like ABVs and age statements. I've had this chat before. Like, why is this? That's when it just seems. It's like the whole tea bag thing. You put the tea bag in hot water, and there'll be a spot where it's just perfect spot instrument. And after it'll get tannicky and bitter. And so 22-year-old, we felt for us, it was just the absolute perfect spot. And I love Benriach. They always do things. If people zig, they'll zag just because they want to just do what they do, and there's no it's all about the whiskey. We're just the whiskey. This to me, honestly, I was drinking this on a Saturday, forgetting just how good a whiskey this really is. This is just super tasty, super soft, super elegant. And I love how it goes from that honey and rich vanilla and honeycomb. Dave was saying, just getting that's that first full of American, and you're getting into that Pedro Jimenez. And you are getting that beautiful Christmas cake, that rich dates and figs and, as I was saying, raisins and chocolate. It's just so beautiful for me. And you can see, like I said, by the color, by the length, by the viscosity, you can see this is spent serious time in that Pedro Jimenez barrel. It's not only 6 months, but this is it's fantastic. Any more thoughts, guys? Yeah, soft. It's funny how it sits to me on my top palate. It doesn't really go into that back palate. And again, it's just, and obviously the peat is there, but it's just now a super elegant peat. Obviously, we talk a little about time and peat, and as been described to me, and I love this analogy, is like, when you try like an NAS or a 10, 11-year-old peated whiskey, it's like having the barbecue in your backyard. But as it gets old, it's like, it's like it's 2 yards away, 3 yards away, 4 yards away. So obviously over time, that peat will dissipate a little bit. They get softer, more elegant. It is still there. It's more like a trace, super elegant peat. But this is very, 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 very drinkable. Albariza, obviously, it's just the white soil that they grow the grapes for the sherry in southern Spain. I asked why we did that, and they just said, listen, we just wanted to have fun. So at the time, Billy Walker was just having fun with names just because he could. Yeah, I love what JD is saying. It's mildly dry to ever so slightly tannic with, again, that PX. And it's that timely PX. And like I said, the word finish to me, that's just crazy talk. To me, it's a secondary maturation. But I think this goes obviously to great evolution from the Temporis, that 4 cask maturation, over to the 22 Albariza, which is like that dog maturation. Yeah, it is very sweet.
Albariza refers to, I think, Emma's.
So Albariza is the name that they give to the type of soil that they grow sherry grapes in. So it's like really chalky. It actually looks white, like quite mineral, calcium rich, and stuff like that. So it's high clay. It's perfect for growing grapes. So yeah, it's the name that the Spanish give to it. And the Portuguese, I believe, probably similar. You know how languages are the same a lot of the time in Europe. So sorry for bumping out my internet.
I thought it was me. I thought we were friends.
I was like, I can't take this anymore.
So we're third the way down, and we've gone to Temporis, Albariza, both obviously sherry influence, both soft and elegant. A lot of days have been slightly drying as well on the Albariza, but so drunk. So I drank this on Saturday night. I just forgot what a top drop it is, and obviously both these, you might see online and you might pay back money for them, but yeah, they're not actually being made anymore. So we're trying to put a bit of history of Benriach. Right, we've gone to the two, obviously American oak and sherry. Again, I flipped and flopped so much on this, but the rum Dunder 22-year-old is the next one. So first full American, and again, not finished, but maturated in a Jamaican cask. I love Jamaican cask. Massive fan. In fact, we've actually used now Jamaican cask in our smoky 10. We're using first full virgin and Jamaican cask, and I love what it brings to, especially to the peat. It's so exciting. We used to have a rum in our portfolio called Appleton Estate Rum, which I was a massive, I was into my tiki and into my rum, and they actually sent me to Jamaica for a while. I spent some time there. We were making the rum, and I've got my theory. It's probably wrong. It's probably my tinfoil hat theory, but you'll find a lot of Jamaican rum is actually aged in ex-Jack Daniels barrels because there's lots of them. It's really high quality. Jack Daniels has this natural, like almost lolly banana flavor in their whiskey as well from their natural line yeast. So my theory is, and it's completely unbounded, completely unproven. It's just my theory that I might be completely wrong. Is that this will probably been aged in a ex-Jack Daniels then rum Dunder barrel. But again, I tried this again also on Saturday, and again I've forgotten how there's just high esters that all from the nose straight away tropical fruit. And they hint like ripe banana, bacon, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm bacon 100%. If you taste it, I think the last one you might find a bit of bacon coming through as well. But I'm getting like the high esters, tropical fruit, and then a hint of like molasses coming through. But that's just me on the nose.
So that's something I was going to ask you, Linus. Oh, sorry, David. Was if you knew what distillery barrel, because when I was looking it up, I was like, is it Appleton? Appleton's fantastic stuff, but it could also be Hampton Estate barrels. Is another option. Yeah. They want to tell you.
Ask that question. Coconut, yeah, that's a great call. On the back, I can desiccate coconut on the back for sure.
Good call out.
And again, pineapple slices on the barbecue.
Yeah, like charred pineapple, 100%. Listen, I don't know. Like I said, in an ideal world, it'd be extract barrel or go to Appleton Estate and come. I don't know, but like I said, my gut feeling will be that it would be a Jack Daniels barrel. So I know, like Appleton Estate use exclusively, exclusively Jack barrels at Appleton Estate. So that's my theory. I've asked this theory that they've not confirmed or denied it, so maybe just been talking about rubbish. But either way, that secondary maturation in the rum barrel, I think as Dave was saying on the nose, that tropical fruit, I get that ripe banana, that hint of molasses, and it just I love how I get a 2 count on the peat, and it just sort of drops off, and I get a bit more of actual fruit. That's just me personally. And the good thing about Benriach, it's just so many layers of flavour. You can go back in and try it again and unlock new flavours. That's why I'm saying if you can contain yourself, have a glass with it, to actually pour some whiskey and then go back to it, and then try it again, because you'll find different flavours come out. I think it's super exciting.
It's almost got this like bomb Alaska. I don't know if anyone's had a bomb Alaska, but with like the meringue, and you just douse it in alcohol and set it on fire. It's tropical for some reason, and yet it's related to Alaska. I don't know, but it's delicious.
I'm a really big fan of like molasses from the rum and the peat. And again, It's taking care of the peat. I also love the back plate. I always get that hint of barley as well. That's just me personally. Again, that is beautiful, soft, elegant. Now that person said bacon, you put bacon in my mind. So it might be psychosomatic. I'm not disagreeing. You know what? It was savoury too. So I think with the last one is what I really get the bacon. I think the pork pipe and the bacon really just comes to the fore. What do you thought so far, guys? Is it the Temporis, the Albariza, or the rum Dunder? That I'm not too sure. I like the thinking faces. Number 2. Yeah, Albariza. That is almost like a mythical. That one Dunder.
Sherry and peat, you can't lose.
Can't go on. You can't go on. I'm in love with that viscosity. Yeah, super tasty. Albariza, yeah. It's just elegant again. That's what it's always falling into that unicorn whiskey. I did jump online. I thought I have a whiskey. I tried it on Saturday. I really enjoyed it. Maybe I'll just jump online and buy a bottle, and I jumped off straight away because it wasn't cheap. There wasn't many around. The ones that were there were hexing. Like, you know what? It's Christmas, and I might just back up a little bit. I was just saying before, we were chatting for the session. I knew I had a problem. So I'm back buying whiskey again when I bought 2 bottles from my guy in the car park the other day. I was in the basement car park buying 2 bottles in a brown paper bag for cash. And I thought, Linus, what is wrong with you? But it was amazing whiskey. It was worth the price. It was a little bit dodgy, but that's okay. But I'm definitely back buying whiskey. So I'm loving it so far. Obviously, you know, we touched a bit sherry with the Temporis. As we had a second Pedro Jimenez maturation with that Albariza. Obviously, the rum Dunder, you know, beautiful Jamaican barrel. I also want to think about the rum Dunder. I was chatting to guys about it the other week, saying, "Can you tell me more about the barrels and you know what your thought process was and how the whiskey reacted with the barrels?" And they were saying that when they actually got over from Jamaica, they were super dry, and they threw in the whiskey and they left it, and they tried it after 6 months, nothing. 12 months. Nothing. And then 14, 15 months, it really just gave a whole heap back. The barrels were so dry, like a dry sponge. It took a long while for it to get into the wood and get a bit of interaction with the wood. But when it did, it really gave back. So again, when I see people using Jamaican back barrels for 12-month finish, I go, mate, I don't know how much rum they'll get from that. You need a few years to get the wonderful flavors from that Jamaican rum cask. See, but I want to say just to be sure it's okay. That nose as well, man. Beautiful.
So good. We're seeing more rum casks as well in just everyday whiskeys, which is exciting because there's so many different rum distilleries making so many cool rums. It's not all Sailor Jerry and Kraken out there. So
no, you're absolutely right.
And now Billy Walker's doing a rum. McNair's range of rums matured in Glenallachie casks.
Yes.
Can't stop him. He just wants to,
I
just goes into everything. It's great.
He's just an absolute maverick. Obviously, they've changed the laws recently. You can now use tequila barrels and brandy casks as well, which is super exciting. So now we've actually started handling the dabble. Where it'll go, I don't know, but we always say it's a barrel. We'll put whiskey in it. It's such a complex whiskey, you can stand up to that barrel. Right. Now we're going into rarefied air. So we're going into the Authenticus. Authenticus, again, Latin, Mr. Robbins, thank you very much. Prime, General, Authentic. And again, I've not tried the third. I've not tried this for a couple of years. So thank you, David, for cracking your little collection and sharing this whiskey with us.
Just before you pour that, Linus, Howard wants to know how long the Dunder was in the rum cask for.
Yeah, I asked a question, and then they've gone a couple of years. They've gone at least, yeah, which is significant. I pressed them. They're going, well, listen, it'll be at least 3 or 4. So that's all I know. But you can tell by the flavors, by the depth of flavor. We're talking years and years, not months. Years. Like I said, I truly believe it should be. This word finish is just misleading. It really is. I think it should be the maturation. Oh, hello. Wow, here we go. Now we're cooking. So, it's a bit about the barrels that we use for this. This is predominantly hogshead. Hoggies. Do you know what hogshead is? Hogshead, obviously, we're going to bourbon barrel, we'll take it to pieces, we'll add a few more staves, we'll go from 200 to 250 litres, we'll put on new ends, and then we'll throw the whiskey in that. You know, bourbon, if you want to carry the smoky flavour, bourbon is now, first of all, bourbon is the way to go, 100%. I actually asked guys about this the other day, just for a bit of insight, and they said the 21 would have been all hoggies, and then the 25 and 30 would have been a little bit of sherry and a little bit of virgin as well, just for balance. But on the nose, this has got the, I'm actually still getting that orchard fruit DNA of Benriach. So I'm getting a little bit of that's apples and pears, but then straight into that beautiful rich smoke as well.
It's got that thing where, like, you know, when you have a pear and prosciutto salad, it's like all those components of like fruit and meat coming together. And in places like Italy, they do prosciutto on melon. Yeah. It's got all those vibes to it.
Yeah, 100%. So it's still got that fruit DNA, but you're right. So a little bit of like, I guess
a little soft, fatty salt.
Yeah, a little bit of kind of like faint umami sort of thing, then going into peats. I'm actually loving this nose actually. Because this nose is not straightforward. Like it's actually, the more I smoke, the more I'm just trying to. I'm not trying this for years, so it's like seeing an old friend and just briny, great cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like fruity, then kind of sort of umami, savoury. Okay, and a little bit of rich wood as well. That was that beautiful campfire smoke.
On that palate, it's got a little bit, it reminds me of the Glenglasser Torfa and stuff like that. Those like salty but light, fruity, viscous style whiskies. Yeah.
It's way softer on the palate than on the nose. I'm actually almost dancing on the tongue. I gotta go back and look again. This actually, I will sit there tonight and I'll write notes on this. I've got this binder full of notes. It'd
be good if you guys can resist the temptation to finish it all, to keep some and compare this with the 30 side by side.
If you can resist.
If you can, hypothetically.
It's actually building a bit more on my back palate as well now. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's got that white pepper that just comes in as you keep going.
Yeah. Like the whole tongue is absolutely teeming. Yeah. White pepper with like a hint of clove, allspice. That's amazing. That's really, really interesting. So yeah, it's fruity. Yeah, I'm with the savoury, spicy as well. Really is. That's actually really interesting. In the best possible way. That's really interesting. And Dave is right. If you can hold off and keep a little wee bit of whiskey, yeah. So yeah, it's that very spicy, smooth, peppery spices. Yeah, absolutely, and that makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? You sort of like that makes no. When you read it, you go, but that makes perfect sense in my mind, because you're right. It's that whiskey that's just. I love whiskies that just challenge you and make you think. Oh, what's that? And you got to go back in again and try it again and try and break it down. And they are right. There is a hint of sherry in there. There's a tiny little wee bit of sherry in there, but there's a little bit, a little bit of a Christmas cake spice in there. There's a little tiny little sprinkle in there. That's just fantastic. That's really, really good. I'm actually loving it, actually. That's actually really good.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Genuinely interesting. Any more thoughts, guys? I still love that. Yeah, like it. Yeah, white pepper, warm spirit. Yeah, just sitting there. The more you drink it, to your point, the more you get this spice in your palate, and you get a slow burn on the back palate as well.
Which is such a interesting, strange thing. You're getting that like peppery, and you are getting that smoke still. Because obviously, when you've got an older peated whiskey, you're not going to have that same punchy smokiness that you would if it was younger. You know, that all that charcoal interaction filters some of it out, but it still is there. You're just like, yeah, this is peated, but and it really does hit on that back palate. It's so cool. Yeah.
On this one, 3 or 4 count. This smoke, you get the spice coming through it, and then the smoke gets right at the back palate. Like here we are. It's a beautiful wood spice and a very back palate that just comes and hits you. Thanks, Dave. This actually, I've not had this one literally for 3 or 4 years, so that's really equating to an old friend. This is super tasty. Super tasty.
This one I got the last bottle on the shelf at Whiskey Galore in New Zealand at Dramfest nearly 4 years ago.
Amazing. Like I say, we are going down. I honestly, I don't call it the Indiana Jones of whiskey collectors, but it truly is. You are trying a bit of history. I love that because I doubt we'll get to try this again. So I want to just savor it, enjoy it, and get everyone's thoughts and things on it. But yeah, it's just thank you, man. That's actually great whiskey. I'm really enjoying that, and it is really original. That's got me. I love the whiskey that makes me think. That's got me thinking right now. It really has. Like the first 3 I love, but I understand them. I know what the DNA is. I understand what the barrel's doing traction-wise and flavor-wise. Versus the 25, I haven't quite got it yet. So I'll go back in. I'll try it again. I'll write some notes. And I seek to understand. Awesome. Anyway, I think we're ready on to the 30. Now I've not tried this before, so I'm now in uncharted territory for me. So I'm excited.
Now I have tried this before.
Have you now?
It is, yeah. I can't remember how I came across it. It was in a tasting thing, and a bottle just appeared, and they're like, "Oh yeah, have a tasting pack as well." I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say no." And it was hands down incredible. And just smelling it again today is just, yes.
Well,
yeah.
I will say that you won't often try a 30-year-old peated whiskey. Well, you will, but you'll pay for it. It'll cost you. It'll certainly cost you. I mean, I think whiskey going into 30s and 20s is going to get more expensive. The demand for Scotch whiskey now is off the chain. It really is. So it's getting harder and harder. So it's get to try that noses.
It's got this beautiful if you put maraschino cherries in a barrel, it just has that beautiful sour but not sour kind of fruitiness to it. It's just all I can smell is maraschino cherries. I love maraschino cherries.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking it up too. I'm putting my thoughts right now. Obviously rich wood, obviously that nice like a morello or peach cherry.
Yeah, I'm not thinking the bright red maraschino cherries. I'm thinking the authentic, legitimate one.
Yeah.
Good Luxardo brand.
And just the buttery mouthfeel to it. Even it's the same as 46. They've all been 46 so far.
Nice one. Again, it's amazing how the peak comes to at the end, but on the roof of your palate, and then slowly moves down to your back palate. That is just. And again, and then in the maybe you put it in my mind again, psychosomatic, and my last favorite is cherries. So that might have been down to you, but yeah. That's again another really fascinating whiskey. It's just.
And it's so texturally different from the 25-year-old as well. Like David was saying, that butteriness, but then I just get this really dry finished. And like the aged wood notes, that dry finish that makes me like, oh, I'm thirsty. I need to go back for another sip. Like I could drink this through a straw.
Just like that peat goes onto the roof of the mouth, back of the mouth. And slide on the back palate. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You can see that it's a little bit of sherry, a little bit of virgin, just to brighten a little bit as well. Just a hint, just a whisper. Doesn't give me more than that. That's excellent. You're right. It's amazing how you got these rich flavors and you make a great point, and then just sort of dry your palate again, and you go, "Oh, I need more whiskey now, don't I?" It's like a quarter more whiskey. That's again. I want to take my time on that one. And if you can, if you're happy, I have to say some up to 25. Then we go back and try that now and see what your thoughts are. I'm going to try now. Yeah, back into the 25.
Yeah, for 5 years difference, they're worlds apart. Yeah,
Because this
exactly,
is
Paul. It's so well balanced.
Straight away, 25, you go back to fruit straight away, 25. You're back, you go, heaps of fruit again, heaps of fruit. And then you hit that dual point and that savoury note, and then rich wood.
Oh, heartbroken that I can never get my hands on the bottle again.
I'm back in the 25 again now. I'm getting almost like a chalky apple at first, and I'm going into the wood and the peat. That's really interesting. Yeah, if you can go from the 25 to 30, I think Dave did his whole tasting just so he could try the 30 and the 25 side by side. And M's right. I think you can tap with the same DNA, but the extra 5 years in the wood has really given that just completely changed it. It's flipped it over. So that's fascinating. And I'm going to be honest. Like I'll go back. I'll try this tonight, and I'll break it down to like minuscule detail. That's just fascinating. But both whiskeys are really interesting whiskies. And you're right. That 5 years is just same DNA, but just different whiskey completely. Wow.
Mm.
They did do a 35-year-old before the 30, at the same time as the Authenticus. That it was unpeated, but a 35-year-old Benriach.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I think it's just at that right age as well, because I've been lucky enough to try whiskeys that are 40, 42 years old and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like, okay, where's the whiskey gone? That the oak just dominates, and it really doesn't in this. It really is like, I love that note, Howard, peachy. So good. Yeah. When you get that like skin of the peach and you bite into it and it's like fuzzy in your mouth. But yeah, I think that this is held so well for its age as well.
Is real burger paints. I actually don't know what burger paint syndrome is. I'd love to hear what it is. That's a new one to me. Do you know what that is?
I haven't heard of it. No.
Okay, can we unmute JD? So GD, just because I want to hear about this.
I'm curious as well. This is
burger paint syndrome. Okay, talk us through this burger paints, because you've got me utterly fascinated.
Berger Paints is an old Australian paint company, and back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe 20 years ago, had an advertising campaign, Berger Paints, keep on keeping on. And when you get a 25, 30-year-old whiskey, usually single cask and cask strength, that has that beautiful white pepper warming spirit that hangs for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour down the throat, so that every time you swallow, it's still there and doesn't go away. That's the Berger Paint syndrome. And that, to me, is the ultimate whiskey.
Amazing. You know what? That is a brilliant explanation. I'm so glad that I asked you. That's brilliant. Love it. The Berger Paint syndrome.
Definitely a lot better than what mine was thinking when you talk about, a paint company. I was like, is this like Core 10, like we used to call Corayo? Like, is it a bad? What's the reference?
I'm just going to explain that 25. It's just so bright on the nose, just orchard fruit, tropical fruit, amazing. All right, we are not going to time suppose. I'm going to be, but we will move on to the last one. And I've got a bottle of this. I know I have. And it's the one that I think it is absolutely juicy. It is a single cask. It is a port pipe. Port really holds heat so well. It's a 12-year-old 2005 cask. I said it would have started life in our first fill virgin, first fill oak, and spent a whole heap of time. My gosh, get it off.
I know, child-proof caps.
Now, this is the one, I won't say anything because I'll let you, I'm retching to say anyways first, but this is the one I think I bought 2 bottles. This came out about 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
When this came out as the single cask series,
Yes, that's right.
And it was, for me, it was the pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
Of the, I don't know, 7 or 8 that made it to Australia. This was the standout.
I was going through my bottles. I found this is a 2006. I thought Peated and Benriach was the wrong cask. But yeah, port pipe cask on the nose. Beautiful, almost like forest fruit on the nose, like a jam compote on the nose sort of thing. It's still bright, so bright.
I don't know if you've had bacon jam before.
Yeah.
But it's like you cook it down with like the caramelized onion and the sugar and stuff, and ooh, this is bacon jam.
Yeah. Beautiful and rich. Yeah. So this is the one. There's a crisp in the UK called a frazzle. The frazzle is like a bacon chip, like a bacon crisp. I was doing a tasting and the guy's just gone, from the UK's gone, frazzles, and I've just given him a high five going, that is what this is. So it's like fatty, bacony, but almost really rich as well. But yeah.
That sounds so weird, but I get a bit of like prawn crackers. You know that like
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
salty, crispy, fishy, but not fishy thing. That's hard to smell prawn crackers. I love prawn crackers, so
it's going back into that like umami, savoury, bacony, but really rich as well on the port. So you're getting like, I guess like very nice as well, just to really mess my head.
This is the only one in the lineup that's under the Brown Foreman stable with
Really?
Rachel Barry. Yep.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's the only Rachel Barry release out of the 6.
yeah, this was selected by her, I believe, as part of their like batch 16 single casks.
So I
got her signature.
I did this tasting. Yeah, I did this tasting. Actually at Whiskey Elements about 4 years ago. It's just, what surprised me is how elegant it is. It's sort of elegant whiskey, and again, I said I know I've got bottles somewhere. I know I'm going to put 2 bottles. I was excited too.
Yeah, I'm fully getting the burger rings as well now that Atlee's mentioned it. Is that like, it's so weird because it's those flavors you're like, they would be great in a whiskey, but then you taste and you're like, oh yeah, liquid burger rings is totally what I want to drink right now. Oh, I love it. Such a good call.
Yeah. Which is also quite this cask strength, single cask. Like normally, again, we give the count. We go like 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the peat. The peat you get straight from the tip of your tongue. It follows through the whole way through. It builds a crescendo. Yeah, it's sweet. It's rich. It's savoury. It's all the things you want in a peated whiskey. Drinks way below its ABV, like way below its ABV. About ABVs, and obviously it's really important from an RSA point of view. I guess it's nice to know what the ABV is, but I tell people just don't worry. I've tried whiskey at 40% that are just not balanced. And it's like, oh my god, that's just so strong. It's 56.2%.
Yeah, one of my favorites was 64% ABV. It was just liquid apricots, and people were like, "You're mental." I'm like, but it doesn't taste that strong. It just
well balanced, well made, and they would have watched this barrel for years. They watched it, they've flagged it, put a chalk on it, put it to one side. And like when I was 13, you see like checking 6 months, checking 12 months, checking in 3 months, and they'll go back, they'll try it again, they'll flag it, they'll put it to one side. But this port pipe is excellent. You're right, Dave. I think this actually was the bunch. Although I did buy a few, and again, it's funny like now. Yeah, JD is killing into. He's killing him.
Beautiful, beautiful description, JD. Bleachers and cold winter times.
And fortunately, I breakfast in Florida, so they forced me to drink. They really did the cost that I bear. But yeah, I'm loving this. This is engaged in the full palate. I'm still trying to break it down a little bit. It's sweet, savoury, smooth, soft, elegant. I'm still getting a hint of bacon coming through. that bacon crisp. Like I said, I should have said you want a pack of frazzles, you didn't know exactly what I mean. That's like a savoury. I don't know, I'll explain. That's what Jay asked the question. I love questions.
Yeah, are Benriach going to bring out a range of single cask strength malts like the ones at Glendronach?
Yeah, we will. We've been really focused on getting and this evolving this new core range. They'll all come out. There'll be some next year. There'll be less of them. You'll probably see more older ones as well. I think no, we don't. So we haven't. For a while we so just so you know, Longmore actually owned Benriach back in 1898 and then sold it after the Paxton crash. But we did make whiskey for mate. We closed for a while. We just did malting for like 60 years. Then we were bought by Glenlivet, and then we just made whiskey for the people for 30 years until '94. And I think we fulfilled our last contract about 18 months ago. So that's it. We are now just making Benriach. I mean, we can't come up with demand anyway, so it makes no sense to do that. You know, and obviously 20 years ago, Scotch whiskey, as we all know, wasn't a thing, and we survived by making whiskey for other people. That's just always a cold hard reality. But now whiskey's turned around. There was a change in the force about 3 years ago, when whiskey overtook vodka as the most drank spirit in the world. So Scotch, Irish, American, Australian, Korean, Japanese put together overtook vodka. People want flavour, so now we just make our own whiskey now, which is really exciting times. You will see single cask. They'll tend to be probably around the 20-year-old mark. A lot of the young whiskey has to go into our core range. Unless it's exceptional, we'll put it on side and we'll monitor that. What's my favourite? Gee whiz. It's like picking your favourite child. I might let everyone answer first. I don't want to give you any thoughts. I've got two favourites. What I thought was going to be my favourite is my favourite, which is funny because it's funny. And I'll sit there tonight and I'll drink these again and write some notes and break them down because it's genuinely fascinating.
Well, everybody you got a chance to vote for your favorites. Let's see.
The winner
Commit
is.
yourselves. You can pick one. It can be only one.
Okay, it's interesting. Really interesting. So I'm weird. I'm strange. I think the first three are just so delicious, so interesting. I love them and I drink them like an old friend that I know really well. The next three challenge me, and I like complicated whiskey. So what's my favourite? No, I don't know. I'd have to think. I don't know. It'd be either the 25 or the single cask. Yeah, and I'm actually going to try and find my single cask. I know I've got at least one somewhere, and I'm going to break it out and drink that because I remember I loved it when it came out. So probably the 25 or the 25. I'll sway by GD and his burger paints. He can take me over. But I think the single cask is. Dave's right. This one I did buy a few of them. But I think this one is the one that I really was just blown away by. I love whiskey that just challenged me. That's why I love the Benriach 18-year-old because it makes me unbalanced. And I'm always trying to understand what that is. So I like whiskey that challenge me. So I'd say the 25 or the single cask. And I might actually push the single cask. But I'm the only one saying. I'm the only one. I'm the only
Look at
one.
that. Overwhelming for the 30 and following close.
And they are both amazing. And they show the DNA, I think, of Benriach really well. And like I said, thank you, Dave, for putting it together, creating this collection, because the 25 and the 30 have really blown me away for different reasons. They're excellent whiskies. And thanks for bringing an old friend out in this 12-year-old peated port. Like I said, peated port work so well together. They really, really do. I don't know, it might be the single cask thing. I said that sweet, savoury, rich campfire smoke it's just got me wonderfully discombobulated, and it makes me curious to go back in and just try it again and just figure it out. I like figuring problems out. So amazing.
Yeah.
But listen, you're a good taste because you picked absolute crackers, and it just shows you how great, I keep saying, a base spirit Benriach is, and how it can stand so well to so many different casks and just show different layers of flavour in each cask. So, no, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Any questions, guys? If anyone will have a chat, I'm happy to have a chat. Or if you've got someone to go, then obviously you can go. Sorry, you're talking, not me. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, if anyone has any last little bits and questions and whatnot, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I think that's it for tonight's tasting. Thank you so much, Linus, for sharing in this experience with us and sharing with us, Benriach and wood and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool to see these, peated whiskies from Speyside distilleries, and it's not all about Isla. Even though we do love it, it's not all about Isla. So yeah, and this is Howard wants to know what's coming soon that's interesting from Benriach.
Yeah, so obviously, obviously the 210s, which is really cool, we evolved. 12 we evolved. You won't see it quite yet, but the Smoky 12 is out in February, March, and we're using Marsala casks. I love Marsala casks. It goes so great with peat as well. So the peated 12, we'll see it in about 3 months, and it's all crackers, but Marsala casks. I'm just had to get that straight away. Next year is the 21, the 25, and 30, which is super exciting. David, do you have any of your single cask that you had? Any of the Benriach single cask?
The single cask ones I've got is the South African wine cask, of course.
Can't help yourself.
But I know you've got off the chain, but
and then obviously there's the Whiskey Show exclusive bottling, the Muscatel cask, 11-year-old. Now, for those of you who are in Melbourne, I assume you're going to be at the Whiskey Show on the 11th of December.
If you're not, I'll be sad.
And if please, and I see some pause nodding, that you need to come and introduce yourselves so that we can actually reassure us that you do have legs.
You exist in the real world.
Linus will be there.
I'll be there. and I'll wear pants or wear trousers, I promise.
And then also a few days after that is the link to the Ultimate Whiskey Champs, where if you haven't bought your little packs, it's only $49. You get 6 whiskies, mystery ones, and you join a live panel on the 15th of December, and you have to guess what they are. And it's not that daunting because you do get points for getting some stuff right. For example, the country of origin or the cask type.
Yep.
And it's just so much fun. And the best thing is that you get to win heaps of whiskey. And I think last year the guy that won didn't get any right, but he was consistent in his partial correctness, if you can call it that.
Partial correctness.
So it's all about staying the distance, and at least it's with blind whiskey tastings, those of you who've been part of them, it's more a process of elimination. It's easier to tell what it's not than what it is. I can't participate because I've been bottling the sample packs, but it's some of them I know people will be getting pretty close without giving too much away. And then just give you the link to the those of you who can share the champs. I mean the Whiskey Show.
Yeah, and I won't be competing in the Ultimate Whiskey Champs this year, but I will be lending my nose. I want to take myself out of contention for giving you guys a chance, but I'll be helping you out and giving you tasting notes and stuff like that throughout it. And yeah, I'll be floating around the Melbourne Whiskey Show, and I love meeting people in person as well. So please stop me, say hello. It happened at the Sydney one. People were like, "You're Emma." I'm like, I've never been to this state before. So, I absolutely love, meeting everyone and getting to see that you do exist in the real world. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's the second session sold out, but there are still about 40 or 50 tickets left for the first session. They'll be gone by the weekend at the rate they're going. So it's fantastic. It's really the next date, February, we're going to be in Adelaide, and we're going to be visiting the rest of the country. We've got about 8 shows lined up for next year and on the cards. So it's an exciting year. We're going to move around the country. Small formats, more compact, more time to spend time with the with the guys like Linus, talking about the brands and just enjoying whiskies.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I can't wait to meet you in person. Like, these are amazing, and thanks for having us. But like the in-person tastings are just incredible. So, but thank you guys. Thank you for your support, Benriach. We do truly appreciate it. Thank you for doing these sessions and just being able to get together during COVID. But obviously, it's been an absolute lifesaver for me. Like this is the bar in my house. This was a living room once upon a time. It's now become a studio and bar. But yeah, thank you guys, and it's great to actually work with Emma, and also thanks to Gary, man. He's old school whiskey. Like he was like chatting about whiskey, tapping whiskey before whiskey was cool. So thank you, mate. So
Yeah.
but any questions? I'm at Geeky Spirit Guy on Instagram. Feel free to DM me. I promise I will respond. But if not, I'll hopefully see you at the whiskey show. And if not, I'll see you another online tasting. But thank you, Emma. Great job. Rockstar.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks, Linus.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for your amazing questions and for joining and whatnot. And